It's time to reboot your credit card with Apple Card. Apple Card gives you unlimited cash back every day on every purchase. It's real cash you can spend right away. No need to wait and wait for rewards. Apply now in the Wallet app on iPhone to see your credit limit offer with no impact to your credit score. Subject to credit approval. Daily cash is available via an Apple Cash card or as a statement credit. See Apple Card customer agreement for terms and conditions. Apple Cash card is issued by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC. Accepting an Apple Card after your application is approved will result in a hard inquiry, which may impact your credit score.
This episode contains explicit language. Welcome to Mom and Dad Are Fighting, Slate's parenting podcast for Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween! This is the Friendship Fiasco edition. I'm Jamilah Lemieux, a writer, contributor to Slate's Care and Feeding Parenting Advice column, and mom to Naima, who is 9.5, and we live in Los Angeles.
I'm Zach Rosen. I make the Best Advice Show podcast. I'm the dad of Noah, who's 5, and Ami, who's 2. We live in Detroit.
And I'm Fiona Kong, founder of the Home Sweet Home Journal for co-parenting families. I am the mom to 6-year-old Emil, and we live in Los Angeles.
Today on the show, we've got a letter from a parent whose child is dealing with some less than ideal behavior within their friend group. One kid is struggling and everybody's impacted. What should they do? Well, we're going to talk about it. First, we wanted to jump into our Monday mailbag. We're going to share a few letters. The first one we got in response to our recent birthday party episode.
Dear Mom and Dad, we just celebrated my now 8-year-old's birthday. We've been able to do small family things over the past couple of years, but she wanted a friend birthday party this year. I was stressed about activities and money, and then I read a post from Busy Toddler, and it was a great reminder that we need to tone down the parties. We don't have to continue doing these epic Pinterest, Instagram-worthy parties. They just want to play with their friends and have some cake. We ended up having 8 friends over to our small house, and we didn't plan any activities. We decorated with streamers and balloons. They had a blast, and my daughter was so happy. I know the letter writer said that they can't do it at their house, but going to a playground has built-in fun, even in the rain, and most parks have covered spaces for adults, which is nice. I think we've gotten into this competitive parenting space where we're trying to outdo the last party or we're not being good parents, and that's about us, not the kids. They just want to play with their friends and have cake. Make it simple. Another cheap indoor option is reserving a side room at the public library. Those are free, but you will have to bring some activities in there. Good luck.
We also got more feedback from our Don't Fear the Diagnosis episode.
Dear Mom and Dad, I've been listening to your show for a few years, and I mostly listen as a parent, but I'm also a school-based occupational therapist. I have to say, I love your knowledge of pediatric occupational therapy after hearing references to it in multiple episodes. It's great for our profession to get these positive mentions, since many people don't know about OT if they haven't had personal experiences. I thought all 3 hosts did an amazing job answering the autism question from a few weeks ago. The one thing I would add would be to start the conversation by asking questions to gauge where the parent is in the process. Do they have any concerns? Is autism on their radar? Have they recently been to their pediatrician? In my experience, having background information about where the parent is in the process and meeting them there is super helpful, and it leads to better conversations.
Yeah, I think tone down in general is great advice for parents to follow. Just tone it down, tone down the parties, tone down the costumes. Let's stop putting so much pressure on ourselves, right? I think that was some good advice.
Definitely. No, we're glad that you feel reflected as an occupational therapist, and also that you enjoyed our answer to that question. And we appreciate you extending your thoughts to us and offering some additional advice. We always love hearing about your experiences and getting your sage wisdom. So please keep sending those letters in. You can do that by emailing momanddad@slate.com. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive right into our listener question.
It's time to reboot your credit card with Apple Card. Apple Card gives you unlimited cash back every day on every purchase. It's real cash you can spend right away. No need to wait and wait for rewards. Apply now in the Wallet app on iPhone to see your credit limit offer with no impact to your credit score. subject to credit approval. Daily cash is available via an Apple Cash card or as a statement credit. See Apple Card customer agreement for terms and conditions. Apple Cash card is issued by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC. Accepting an Apple Card after your application is approved will result in a hard inquiry, which may impact your credit score. Feast your kids' ears with Pinna. It's entertaining and educational audio stories and adventures just for kids, with podcasts and audiobooks for ages 3 through 12. Discover well-known and original stories your kids will love. From comedy to sci-fi and mystery to fantasy, Pinna has something for every interest that will be sure to leave both you and your kids wanting more. Don't miss out on screen-free entertainment that you can feel good about. Right now, our listeners can get 1 year of Pinna at $19.99 for a full access annual subscription, a savings of over $50. Just head to pinna.fm/promo to sign up and use code MOM and DAD at checkout. That's PINNA.fm/promo.
We are back and ready to hear today's listener question.
Dear Mom and Dad, my child attends a Dodia school with a small class size, so short-term and limited options for outside friends. A mixed-gender friend group has formed, but one member of the group is struggling to connect and exhibiting behaviors that are causing others to want to exclude them. Apparently the kid is not bad, just annoying. Another kid is hosting a get-together and has not invited the struggling child. My child is invited and wants to attend, but we're both agonizing over what to do. My kid is always kind to the other child, but doesn't enjoy the person. Obviously, the party will not remain a secret because we're in a small community, and I am friends with the other parent. What would you advise for either of us? Thanks, Friendship Fiasco.
Well, first of all, I had to look up DODEA. That's Department of Defense Education Activity, like a military school on a base. But I think that's beside the point. This is a dynamic we've all seen in our lives. It's agonizing just to imagine the different facets of this. Because this kid is annoying. He's not bad, he's annoying. So why would you want to hang out with him? At the same time, excluding him in this small community when you know it's going to get back to him that there was this party and they weren't invited, like that's going to feel terrible. I think it's too early to, extricate this kid from parties. I think that they deserve another chance. I really want to know what they're doing that's annoying. And I wonder if your child, Friendship Fiasco, who it's so sweet that they're always kind to the other child and they're agonizing over what to do because this is a decision that's weighing on them. And though they're not the ones deciding whether or not to include this kid or not, maybe reach out to the host of this party and kind of talk through it with them and just like wonder aloud with them. Well, what if you invite them this time and I'll kind of take the annoying child under my wing and maybe there's something that I can do to help them feel more comfortable. Maybe they're acting out of insecurity or discomfort. But like all in all, I just think that just excluding this kid right now it's just not nice. It's just not nice. But I don't know, because who wants to hang out with an annoying kid? What do you think?
Zach, I completely agree with everything you've said, because this isn't an easy situation where, there's implications on both ends, right? This kid deserves, I also believe that kids, they're young, and the hurt that they will feel, and they need to see these kids all the time. I think that makes the situation so much worse. So I feel like if you are good enough friends with the annoying kid's parents, maybe have a conversation with them about, if you're able to pinpoint where their child is struggling, frame it in a way that is helpful, because chances are they don't know what the problem is, right? And they can't correct it if they don't know what the problem is. I do like the idea of going to the host and saying something because, we talked about exclusion. It's really shitty. I personally would still invite the kid. In a small community, you be inclusive, because I think the interactions going forward are going to be really awkward. So that's what I would say. I would definitely try to have conversations with both parents and try to make things, figure out a happy medium.
Yeah, no, I agree with you both. I definitely think it's worth reaching out to the host and just talking about how painful it could be for a child in such a small group to be left out. Then having that conversation with the parent of the child in question that, hey, there's seems to be a little tension between so-and-so and the group. I've observed some things. Could we maybe chat about it? And I know that's a very courageous conversation to have. I mean, nobody wants to be told anything negative about their child, but I just think of so many people that have suffered socially, things perhaps could have been different if there had been some intervention and someone would say, hey, these behaviors are really, people don't like being treated that way. You got to work on how you talk to people. You got to keep your hands to yourself, things that can become these kind of deeply antisocial behaviors, or a child that could grow up being really isolated from their peers. And that's not to say they can't have meaningful friendships, but, that they're not able to really do well in this broader group when it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Because, like you said, the behaviors are not like bad, just annoying. I wish that parents of annoying children were told, hey, your kid's kind of out here annoying everyone sooner than later, so it can be addressed.
I interviewed this woman who's going to be on this show, I think in the next couple of weeks. Her name is Dr. Marissa Franco, and she just wrote a book about friendship and its importance in our lives. She's a professor and a psychologist and a researcher. And one of the things she told me, a key thing that we can do with our friends is normalize telling them when they've hurt us. And that's something that I think this speaks to, like telling this, quote, annoying kid that they're being annoying or saying it in a nicer way is only going to help. That's going to make them feel closer to you and vice versa. And it's going to make them aware of their, annoying tendencies. So by excluding them, by alienating them, by not making them feel like they are welcome, that isn't going to it's not going to get you anywhere. And it's certainly just going to make this kid not very happy with themselves, because they're not even going to know why they weren't included. They're just not going to get this invitation. Then they're going to be scratching their head, saying, what did I do wrong? God damn it, I'm not good enough. Like, what did I do? Like, there's a nice way to tell someone, like you said, when they're being annoying.
And it definitely, will impact their self-esteem moving forward. And at that age, right, it's like you care so much about being included. Kids, they talk, and you can't really hide that stuff. So, I would think about when I was a kid, I wasn't annoying, but I was a really shy kid. And if someone had come up to me and be like, I was good in like small circles, small interactions. And if I had an adult that understood that and was like, okay, we're going to maybe cater to that, we're going to not, try to help me in this situation when there's so many kids, it's overwhelming to me. It's like, that's what helps everyone move forward, right? And it would have helped me so much if, there was that understanding and someone was there to be like, okay, like I understand how, like what's going on with you, but this is how we want to help you. So ultimately, I think that's the goal. We want everyone to do and feel well.
Absolutely. Letter writer, we would love an update on this. We hope our advice was helpful, and please keep us posted. Everyone else, do you have some advice for our letter writer? You can let us know by emailing us at momanddad@slate.com. That's also where you can send any questions of your own.
It's time to reboot your credit card with Apple Card. Apple Card gives you unlimited cash back every day on every purchase. It's real cash you can spend right away. No need to wait for rewards. Apply now in the Wallet app on iPhone to see your credit limit offer with no impact to your credit score. Subject to credit approval. Daily cash is available via an Apple Cash card or as a statement credit. See Apple Card customer agreement for terms and conditions. Apple Cash card is issued by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC. Accepting an Apple Card after your application is approved will result in a hard inquiry, which may impact your credit score.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive. What's one thing you'd purchase with a little extra savings? A weighted blanket? Smart speaker? That new self-care trend you keep hearing about? Well, Progressive wants to make sure you're getting what you want by helping you save money on car insurance. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average, and customers can qualify for an average of 6 discounts when they sign up. Discounts like having multiple vehicles on your policy. Progressive offers outstanding coverage and award-winning claim service. Day or night, they have customer support 24/7, 365 days a year. When you need the most, they're at their best. A little off your rate each month goes a long way. Get a quote today at Progressive.com and see why 4 out of 5 new auto customers recommend Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who save with Progressive between June 2020 and May 2021. Potential savings will vary. Discounts vary and are not available in all states and situations.
It is finally time for some recommendations. Fiona, what are you recommending?
This is going to be a fun one. My son and I just discovered this game, and he loves board games. He's so into them right now. I don't know if you two know about it, but it's called Blokus, and apparently it's been around for a while. It's this puzzle game. It's a board, and there's all these pieces, and it involves a lot of strategy to fitting all the pieces on the board. It's kind of like Tetris, but we have an octagon-shaped board or hexagon, and it takes probably about 30 minutes, and you can play it from my child's 6 now, but you could play it till you're like 99. So it's a great use of time, and we just love it. We've played it every time he comes back home. It's on our to-do list.
So it's not digital, it's like an actual thing that you touch?
Yeah, it's a tangible game.
I'm looking this up, Blokus, because I love Tetris.
I know, it's very different than anything I've played before. So for the holidays, it's fun for adults and kids.
Blokus, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe we need to try this because we could use a new game. What about you, Zach? What are you recommending?
I'm recommending forest bathing. I was up north in northern Michigan with some friends this weekend, and we were with the kids, so I didn't get much time to myself, but I went out in the backwoods behind a friend's house just for like 20 minutes, all by myself. No one around other than trees and leaves and birds. And I just took it in. I just had some time to myself. I did some weird interpretive dancing based on how I was feeling in the moment. I did some singing. I just climbed on some fallen trees like I was 7 years old. And it felt so good. And then an hour later, I was walking with Noah out in the woods, and then gave her some space, probably walked 100 yards past her. And then she did her own solo forest bathing. And then I just heard some singing coming from the distance, and she was moving around. And I think at one point she was laying down, making leaf angels, especially if you live in the city like me, just getting out into the woods, even if it's just in the park inside the city. Something specifically about doing it by yourself. Leave your phone or put your phone away and just take in the fall. It's a great time of year right now to be outside.
Forest bathing. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. It's an actual term. I actually looked it up. That it was created in 1982 by the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries. And the word, it's in Japanese, but it translates to forest bathing or absorbing the forest atmosphere. So that's what it is. Just absorbing the atmosphere. You don't actually take a bath. You can rub leaves all over yourself, though. Nothing wrong with that.
What time of day did you go?
Oh, good question. Late afternoon. And it was unseasonably warm. It was in the high 60s here in Michigan this weekend. It was magnificent.
You've inspired me. I'd love to get out of the city here in LA.
Yeah, do it. How about you, Jamilah?
Well, I am recommending the movie Bros. It didn't do super well. I don't think it really met expectations, but I thought it was rather cute. It's not a perfect movie. It's definitely significant to have a big box office rom-com about 2 men. And I think it's a sweet movie. It's definitely not a family movie. It's an adult film. There's, pretty solid performances. I mean, it's a little long. I think all movies are a little long. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think everything could be a solid 90. I'm going to start a solid90.com. It's a movement to make films be 90 minutes long because my attention span is struggling. But that was pretty decent. I gave it a shot. Not the best movie I've ever seen, not the worst, but I thought it was good.
Did you laugh out loud a lot?
No, it was more chuckle funny, I think I got more caught up in the love story than, like it actually being like a ha-ha comedy. But there are a few laugh moments. Deborah Messing has a pretty memorable cameo, but not the biggest ha-ha funny movie, but few rom-coms are.
Did you go to the theater?
I went to the theater, yeah.
Popcorn?
I had popcorn. I had a cheese and caramel mix. That was absolutely awful. Ooh. It was disgusting. Like, the cheese had this weird aftertaste, and I was dying. I'm from Chicago, where we have Garrett's popcorn, which is so delicious and so good. They're known for a cheese and caramel corn mix. There's one in New York. There is not one out here. And boy, what they were selling at the movies was pretty disgusting. So shout out to the Regal Cinema at the Grove. That's the worst popcorn I've it was so bad. I was so hungry. So I'm just kind of like casually, like the caramel was edible, but the cheese had this really bad aftertaste. Like it was just so synthetic tasting. Like this was worse than like any little bag of popcorn you got at a birthday party when you were kids. Like this was really bad, really bad. I paid so much money for it.
How much does a movie and popcorn cost in LA now?
Oh my God. I've kind of blocked it out of my mind. My mom freaks out. Like we went to the movies and she made a whole like, oh my God, that's how much it costs. I was like, Mom, it's fine. So I don't know. I feel like I've blocked the cost out of my mind because it's so high, but I feel like a ticket is probably $16 or $17. And with taxes, you're pretty close to $20 per person or per adult. And then the popcorn, I'm sure I spent at least $20 on like my popcorn and my Freestyle machine soda.
But you got to see a movie, and I mean, seeing a comedy in the theater, there's just something really fun about it.
There is something fun about it. Pretty quiet audience, though.
And I like Billy Eichner.
I like Billy Eichner too. He's fine. All right, well, you guys, thank you so much for another episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting. Thank you for listening. As always, this episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting is produced by Kristie Taiwo-Makanjuola and Rosemary Belson. For Fiona Kong and Zach Rosen, I'm Jamilah Lemieux. Thank you for listening.